Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, Wooden Railway Adventures, Episode 149, Tour de Sodor. It was a lovely winter's evening on the island of Sodor, and the narrow gauge engines were huddled tightly together in their sheds. The temperature had dropped considerably in the past couple of days, and the engines were huddled tightly together to make sure that they stayed warm. "Well," said Ivo Hugh, breaking the silence, "that was an excellent story, Fearless Freddy, but I think that's enough for tonight. I think that we should all get some sleep so that we can start on our jobs in the morning. What do you guys say?" "I agree," said Skarloey. "We have many important jobs tomorrow, and we wouldn't want to wake up late and miss them." "Yep," said Rheneas, "that's Sir Topham Hatt's worst nightmare, right there." Just then, however, Duke spoke up. "You know," said Duke, "when was the last time that we did our very famous race around the railway?" "What?" said Skarloey. "Hey," said Ivo Hugh, "I know what you're talking about." "Really?" said Fearless Freddy. "Yeah, we did it a couple years ago, but we haven't done it since." "Yeah, you're right," said Skarloey. "That used to be an annual thing, but we've been so busy these past couple of years, I've completely forgot about it." "Yeah, same," said Rheneas. Do you guys think we should bring it back?" "I think we should," said Duke. "It was very exciting." "All right, then that's settled," said Skarloey. "Attention, everyone," opening up the discussion to the rest of the engines around the turntable. "It looks like tomorrow we are going to do another race around the railway." "What's race around the railway?" said Smudger. The engines gasped. "How do you not know this?" said Sir Handel. "Relax," said Duke. "Remember, Smudger wasn't here." "Wow," said Peter Sam. "If Smudger wasn't here, then that means that we haven't done one in a very long time." "Yes," said Duke. "It's been a while since we did our last race around the railway. Don't worry, Smudger. It's just a race around the narrow gauge railway to see who can ever do it the fastest." "Oh," said Smudger. "Sounds simple enough." "Huh," said Ivo Hugh. "It sounds simple, but is actually very complex." "Ivo Hugh," said Rheneas, "what did you say about getting some sleep?" Rheneas was smiling and winked at Ivo Hugh. "You're right," said Ivo Hugh. "We should get some sleep. But what about this race around the railway thing?" "Tell you what," said Duke. "How about we wake up early tomorrow, get all our jobs done, and then we can come back to the shed and do the race around the railway contest." "Excellent idea," said Fearless Freddy. "Everybody needs to get their jobs done, including you, Duncan." Everybody looked at Duncan. "Why are you all looking at me?" said Duncan. "I always get my jobs done." "Yes, you do," said Skarloey sarcastically, "the day after they're supposed to be done. That's what makes Sir Topham Hatt the maddest," said Rheneas. "Oh, don't worry, everybody," said Duncan. "I'll get my jobs done. You don't have to worry about me." "Huh," said Duke. "We'll see about that." And with that, all of the narrow gauge engines soon fell asleep. The next morning, they broke out and were feeling bright and cheerful. It was freezing out, but the engines' hearts were very warm. "All right," said Ivo Hugh, "let's get off to work so that we can get back here as soon as possible and do the race around the railway contest." And with that, all of the engines left. One by one, they gradually came back to the shed. Everybody, however, except Duncan. Smudger soon asked the question everybody was wondering. "Where's Duncan?" said Smudger. "I hope he got all of his work done," said Rheneas crossly. Just then around the corner came Duncan. He flew into the turntable area and stopped all of a sudden. I'm here," he said. "No need to worry about me." "There you are," said Ivo Hugh. "Duncan, did you get all of your jobs done?" "Maybe," said Duncan. "You didn't get all of your jobs done, did you?" said Peter Shame crossly. "No," said Duncan. "Working at the incline's so boring, though. I mean, really, who's supposed to do that? Besides Rusty, he loves working at the incline." "It's true," said Rusty, laughing. "I do love working at the incline." "This will not do," said Skarloey. "Duncan, you must go finish your jobs at the incline before you can participate in the race. If we have time at the end, then, well, maybe you can participate. Do you understand?" "Yes, Skarloey." And with that, Duncan rolled slowly away. "All right," said Smudger, "let's get started. I'm excited to see how this unfolds." "First off," said Duke, "we need to decide who's racing and who's not." "Skarloey?" "No," said Skarloey. "I'm way too old for this now." "Same here," said Rheneas. "I would love to race," said Duke, "but my wheels just won't take it." "Nor will mine," said Ivo Hugh. "I may be Fearless Freddy," said Freddy, "but I can't tackle all the different tracks on the narrow gauge railway. What about you fellers, over here?" "I'll do it," said Peter Sam. "Yeah, so will I," said Sir Handel. "I am up for the challenge," said Mighty Mac. "Might as well," said Smudger, "to see what it's like." "Rusty, are you going to do it?" "Of course I will," said Rusty. "I wouldn't miss it for the world." "Excellent," said Rheneas. "Mighty Mac, would you do the honors and go first?" "Of course," said Mighty Mac. The turntable turned, and Mighty Mac rolled onto the turntable. "All right," said Rheneas. "I'll be the timekeeper. On your mark. Get set. Go!" And when Rheneas said go, Mighty Mac raced out of the turntable area. "Wow," said Duke. "He is fast. He is 2 engines, after all," said Fearless Freddy. "I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the top spot." "Oh, Smudger, by the way, you might want to move. That," said Smudger, "would be a very good idea." And with that, Smudger rolled into the siding. A few minutes passed and the narrow gauge engines were still talking about their ordinary things. The turntable was turned back for the arrival of Mighty Mac. "Hang on a second," said Skarloey. I think I see him over there. Yeah, I see him." And Skarloey was right. Around the corner came Mighty Mac, racing in, and he stopped at the turntable. "Well done, Mighty Mac," said Duke. "Rheneas, was that a good time?" "That was an excellent time," said Rheneas. "All right, Mighty Mac, step off the turntable. Let's get everybody else in here to make sure that we have enough time in case Duncan wants to come back." And with that, Mighty Mac stepped off. Peter Sam was next, and he rolled onto the turntable. He was off when Rheneas said go, and a few minutes later he arrived back at the turntable. "Well done," said all the engines. "You're doing fine." For the rest of the day, the engines took their turns going one at a time. Soon, only one engine was left. "All right," said Rheneas. "Here are the current standings. In fourth place, Smudger." "Oh, who cares?" said Smudger, laughing. "I'm new to the railway. I don't know it that well. Oh well, next time will be good for sure." In third place, Sir Handel. "My old wheels can't take this anymore," said Sir Handel, laughing. "Oh well, like Smudger said, I'll get him next time." In second place, Peter Sam. "All right," he said, "this special funnel is working after all." "And your current leader," said Rheneas. "Mighty Mac. That's the power of two engines right there," said Mighty Mac. "Now," said Ivo Hugh, "our only engine left to go is Rusty. Are you ready, Rusty?" "Of course I am," said Rusty. The turntable turned and Rusty stepped onto it. "All right," said Rheneas. "On three. Ready?" Rusty inched closer to the edge of the turntable. 1, 2, 3. Go, go, go! And Rusty raced away. Molly was waiting patiently at the top station when suddenly she heard a very loud, high-pitched sound. "What is that?" said Molly. A few seconds later, Molly found out Rusty was racing down the line, and he was just an orange blur when he rushed by. He didn't even have time to say hi to Molly. "Oh," laughed Molly, "the narrow gauge engines are doing the Race Around Sodor event. Huh, I should have known." And Molly was right. Rusty was absolutely flying. He went around every bend as though he had been there 1,000 times before. "Hooray," said Rusty. "I really do want to win the Race Around Sodor competition. It's been a while since I did it last. Oh, I think I finished second last time. I can't really remember. But oh well, I do want to be the winner. I really, really do. It's going to be tough to beat Mighty Mac, though. Oh, here's the viaduct. This is my best part on the entire island." And with that, Rusty zoomed on. He finally came down the viaduct, and there was the big hill. "Oh dear," said Rusty. "This is the hill that Skarloey got caught on last time. I hope I can make it." And with that, Rusty began to go up the big hill. A few minutes later, Rusty made it to the top of the hill. "Phew," he said. "That took a long time. Ugh, I've never been good with hills, but oh well, it's downward from here. All right, here we go. Oh look, you can even see the sheds from here." Rusty raced along the suspension bridge, but as he came to a corner, he tried to brake. But he couldn't. Rusty just kept rolling along. "What's going on?" said Rusty. "This isn't right." He slammed on his brakes as an experiment, but he just kept rolling. Rusty realized that his brakes had failed. "Help! Help! I'm out of control! I'm out of control!" "Look, look," said Skarloey. There he is! There he is! Rusty's coming around the bend. He has a 10-second lead on you, Mighty Mac. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, Mighty Mac, Rusty beat you by 2 seconds. "Job well done, Rusty," said Mighty Mac. Rusty? Hey, guys, why didn't he stop?" "Something doesn't seem right," said Duke. "No, it doesn't," said Peter Sam. "Help! Help!" came Rusty's voice. "I can't stop! I can't stop! Oh no, something's happened," said Fearless Freddy. "I'll go after him," said Peter Sam. "This doesn't look good at all." And Peter Sam rushed onto the turntable. Meanwhile, Rusty was absolutely out of control. Now his accelerator had stuck. "Ah," he said, "I'm headed toward the incline. This cannot end well." Rusty zoomed up the incline, and he shut his eyes as he reached the top. "Oh dear," he said, "there's probably loaded slate cars up here." But Rusty was fortunate. The siding at the top was empty. "Ah!" And Rusty slammed into the end of the buffers. The buffers quivered for a second and suddenly came tumbling down. Rusty dangled dangerously at the edge where the buffers used to be. He was lopsided and actually was leaning over on his side between the gap between the two lines. Duncan, meanwhile, had been at the top of the incline and was preparing to take some slate cars down because the incline had broken. He was horrified when he saw his best friend Rusty leaning on his side, about to plunge off of the edge. "Don't worry, Rusty," said Duncan. "I'll help you, don't worry." And with that, Duncan rushed down the line. Meanwhile, Peter Sam was coming from the turntable. "Watch out, Duncan," he said. "I can't stop. I can't stop." "Neither can I," said Duncan. And all of a sudden, the two crashed hard at the bottom of the incline. Peter Sam went off the track and smashed into the signal. It started to shake uncontrollably. "Oh no," said the engine. "It's going to fall. Watch out," said Peter Sam. "Duncan, go save Rusty." Duncan quickly switched onto the other line, and with that, the signal collapsed behind them, and the track was blocked. Peter Sam was knocked over, but however, he was all right. "Oh dear," said Duncan. "This is terrible. Guys, I need some help." "We can't give you any help," said Sir Handel. "The track's blocked. You're going to have to go get Rusty by yourself." "Oh, okay," said Duncan. Duncan traveled slowly up the incline. He said, "Don't worry, Rusty. I'm here." "Oh, thank you, Duncan," said Rusty. "Uh-oh, the track's shaking when you come along. Please, be careful. Be very careful." "I'll try," said Duncan. The engines watched in horror from the sheds as they saw Duncan approaching him. "They better be careful," said Skarloey. "If Duncan misses, this could be very, very bad." Luckily, Duncan's driver had a coil of rope, and he tied it to Rusty's back buffer. "You're going to have to do this quick," he said. "Look, the whole track's shaking. It won't last long." "Help," said Rusty. "Duncan, please help me." "Don't worry," said Duncan. "I'm going to get you out of here, Rusty." And with that, Duncan began to pull. Rusty soon began to list onto his right side, and gradually his wheels came back onto the track. "All right," said the driver. "It's easy from here. Go and couple up to him." But Duncan did it too hard. He nearly knocked Rusty off the side. "Ah!" he said. Duncan, no! I got you, Rusty. Don't worry." And with that, Duncan pulled Rusty back on the track. Now the whole bridge was shaking. "Whoa, whoa," said Duncan. "We're going to fall," said Rusty. "Get out of here, quick." Duncan rolled backwards just in time as the track beneath them slid out from under them and crashed onto the ground below. The support they had also been on smashed down as well. The two engines were horrified as they had just realized they had escaped a nasty accident. Rusty was speechless. He could just see himself down there next to that buffer, and a scrambled piece of scrap. Duncan was shocked as well, but at least he could find the words. "Are you all right, Rusty?" he said. "Yes," said Rusty. "I'm all right. Oh, thank you, Duncan. Thank you. Thank you for saving me." "Well, that's what friends do," said Duncan. "And by the way, Rusty, you really need to learn how not to rock and roll. Without all that, this would have been easily avoidable." Rusty laughed at the comment. "Well done, Duncan," he said. "Well done."